That growing threat from ISIS in the homeland, that new arrest made overnight after that deadly shooting outside Boston. Police and the FBI working together to take down a suspect threatening them. ABC's Tom Yamas is in Boston for us this morning with the latest. Good morning, Tom.
Robin, good morning. The call from ISIS to attack uniformed police officers in America has apparently reached Boston, but authorities caught up to two men who allegedly wanted to answer that call. One of them is now dead, the other set to appear in court this morning.
It's a top 5 unit. It's a top 5.
This morning, the FBI and Boston police actively working an ISIS-related terror investigation that on Tuesday led to a deadly confrontation in this CVS parking lot. 26-year-old Usama Rahim allegedly lunging at an FBI agent and a Boston police officer with this military knife.
The officer gave several commands for him to drop the weapon, and unfortunately he came at the officers, and they do what they were trained to do, and unfortunately they had to take a life.
Law enforcement sources telling ABC News Rahim made statements indicating he wanted to attack uniformed police officers in line with what ISIS has ordered through an aggressive social media campaign. Rahim had been under 24-hour surveillance by the Boston Area Joint Terrorism Task Force, which knew he was armed before they stopped him.
The level of alarm brought us to question him.
Rahim's brother, a local imam, took to social media, claiming when officers shot his brother, Rahim was on his way to work and on the phone with his father. His last words, "I can't breathe." Police also arresting this man in nearby Everett. Sources tell us his name is David Wright, and he also expressed an interest in taking up the ISIS call to attack police. And Wright will be in federal court later this morning where he'll be formally charged. George?
Okay, Tom, thanks. Let's bring in Pierre Thomas. Pierre, the FBI appears to be ramping up the response to these potential threats, getting very aggressive.
Good morning, George. That's right. Today, the FBI is looking closely at the Boston suspect's associates and will soon begin dissecting every aspect of his life. Sources tell us that the Boston confrontation is reflective of an ultra-aggressive stance that the FBI is taking in recent months concerning potential ISIS sympathizers here in the U.S. The FBI aggression has intensified in recent weeks since two men were shot and killed in Texas after they allegedly came to attack a conference involving cartoons depicting the Prophet Muhammad. In some cases, the FBI is contacting suspects to let them know they're being watched or arresting them on lesser charges that can be made immediately. It's a tense moment because the FBI says it has identified hundreds of ISIS sympathizers here at home following ISIS via social media, George.
And Pierre, in Washington yesterday, Congress passing the president signing a reinstatement of the Patriot Act, but with some changes to the regime that's been put in place since 9/11. What's the big change?
Exactly. The real difference here, George, is that the NSA will no longer be keeping these bulk telephone records. The phone companies will. When the government wants to access these records, they will have to seek a warrant approved by a court. Some intelligence officials worry this will create lag time, which might impede rapidly unfolding terror investigations. We'll have to see, George.
We will be watching.